Hello students, this is a video to accompany your product website featuring documentation assignment. I've received a few questions about the extensiveness of this assignment and what you are asked to complete, and some students have wanted to see previous students' work on this assignment. The challenge with that question is that I have not assigned this in this way before. And the last time I assigned a variant of this was about 4 years ago. And those students were hosting their websites at a UNM domain. So when they graduated, those assignments all went away. So I was able to find a few that weren't hosted in that way, and I'm able to share them with you. Now, the other thing is the previous students didn't have to do all 3 items. They didn't have to do a user guide, a quick start guide, and a fact page, but they did have to build their own website using HTML of their own creation. So they had a big job to do in that respect, and you guys have a big job to do with regard to the documentation itself. So as I have highlighted on the screen, what you're required to complete are a user guide, a quick start guide, and a fact page. You also have to complete a 3 to 5 minute screencast video that tells me about your process, your decisions, and your design ideas. So I want to remind you also that in week 15 of our class, you can sign up for an optional conference with me, and here's the Google Doc. One of you signed up so far. You can have a video conference with me that week, and you can show me how your website is coming along, and I will give you feedback. That is the only thing that's going on in week 15 are the optional conferences. Otherwise, you have the whole week dedicated to completing this assignment. Okay, so I'm going to show you one prior student's website. She had a product called the Sleep Well electric blanket, and this was the landing page of her website. Again, her assignment was different from yours in that she did all this HTML herself, and this is her landing page where she gives an overview of the product, and she talks about some of its features, and she's filled in lots of different parts of this assignment, this landing page. She's shown an image of the product, and she shows some other details as well. She's got a menu up here that can go away and come back. And then over here is a menu. For you guys, you would have a home page where you would describe your product, whether it's a product you invented or one that actually exists. And then you would have a user guide, quick start guide, and FAQ. Those would all be in your menu. So hers was a user guide. That's what she completed. They only had to do one because they had a lot of other work to do on the website itself, building it from scratch. You guys have to do all 3. So I'm going to show you what she did on her user guide, just so you can see the extensiveness of her output. So this is her Sleep Well electric blankets user guide, and it's 9 pages long, and you can see that it reveals lots of attentiveness to the features that are discussed throughout the course in terms of user-oriented documentation. A user guide often has many of these components. So she's got her table of contents. It's nicely designed. Getting started, she's got some caution items, safety precautions, and other safety precautions. Important safeguards. One thing you'll see when I show you the rubric for this is that she uses a lot of headings very well. She uses bolding for emphasis. She uses color as well, as many guides do, even though from an accessibility standpoint it's not ideal. But I didn't deduct for that because she used bold as well. She used these glyphs, which is really common to emphasize information. And she has a diagram of the control for the electric blanket, and she explains how to use that. This isn't great how she's got this text wrapped from setting 3 all the way to below the image, but that's just a small little glitch. She's got some more graphics in the user guide. Talks about servicing, troubleshooting, another graphic, warranty, and that's the end of her guide. It's very well done and very complete. Again, this is one output that she created. this would be one of 3 that you were creating. So this is the user guide. This is the biggest thing. Hers was 9 pages. That's plenty. If you want to think about the extensiveness that your user guide needs to reflect, you can think about this as a pretty good benchmark. So follow this for thoroughness. You also have to do the quick start guide, which would probably just be a 1-page PDF, and then you have to do your fact page. I do not have a quick start guide to show you in this video, but there's lots of good ones available online, and I have some in the assignment prompt itself, as you can see linked on the, let's see, this is the second page, I guess. Here they are. There's some link there. Okay, so here is the rubric for her assignment. Now yours is going to be slightly different because they had to do, again, the coding of a website itself, but there will be a lot of similarities. This student had to do a screencast, which you will have to do as well. And then there's navigability across all the different pages of the website, how effective the writing is, how clear the writing is across all of these different pages, how graphics and design were used. And you can see that this student got almost a 92%, so that's really good. And here's some of the things that I said. You can pause this video if you want and read some of these remarks that I made. And this was an A minus assignment. So here's another student for sand candles, beautiful candles to help you brighten your world. Now again, this student used downloadable HTML code, which he adjusted to make this website. So that's the reason why some of these students' websites are a little bit more simplistic than yours will be, because you're using what's called a WYSIWYG, which is a what you see is what you get website editor, like Wix or Weebly. They weren't using that at all, so yours will look snazzier, just so you understand the difference between theirs and yours. So if you scroll down, you see some information that the student added to the page to go with these candles. And again, the student filled in all the content on the page, which you will do as well. And then let's take a look at, I think this student's was a fact page, right? Because I think all of these, yeah, just went to this fact page. So this is the fact page. I will say this isn't a great fact page. The ones in the assignment itself are much better examples of what a fact might include and its extensiveness. And so I've included some from Facebook, Amazon Music, and Blendtec just to give you an idea. But this student does include these items that you can click on. Again, this contrast is not great. It's like light mint green on teal, which isn't great, but he included 4 items that you could click to get more information. Again, this is a pretty abstract concept, these sort of chakra uniting candles, but I did want to show you one example of something a student had done before and then show you how I graded this. So this student received a 90 on the project as a whole, but I did have some questions about the design of the website and the comprehensibility and completeness of that fact page. You can see that I made some comments here. I really erred on the side of being generous with these students during that semester because they had to do so much work with the creating of the website and to the hosting of it online, or the sending me a zipped file of all of the assets I would need to run it on my own computer. It was very complicated. You guys don't have to do that, so I'm going to be expecting much more in terms of the actual output itself. So let's return to the assignment. Again, you have to do the fact page, and there's examples. You have to do the quick start guide. There's some examples. You have to do the user guide, and then you have to do the screencast video. These students had to do the screencast video as well, and you can see that on their rubrics. If you have any questions about doing the screencast video, please reach out to me and I will let you know how to do that. I'm using QuickTime on my Mac right now. I use it a lot. It's very easy. It's just built into Macs and super easy to use. You can also use the Screencast-O-Matic app I use that as well. Very easy to use. There's many options out there. So hopefully you won't have too much trouble doing that. Be sure that you follow all the criteria down here about what you need to do in your screencast video. And you need to host it somewhere online so that all I have to do is click a link to view it when I'm grading it. And then all you need to do for your website is make sure that you're including the link to the website. If you're using Google Sites, the last thing I'm going to say is make sure I do not have to request permission to view it, and also make sure that you're not sending it to me in editing mode. You need to share it in its complete form and make sure that the permissions for each and every page are set so that I can view. Like if your quick start guide is a separate PDF like this student's was, sometimes this will be a Google Doc within a Google site, and you would need to set the permissions separately for that Google Doc so that I could see it. So make sure you test all of that. So I hope that this has answered a lot of your questions about what you need to do in this assignment. And many of the examples that are on this assignment prompt are from large companies like Nikon or Amazon. I'm not going to expect you to do as professional or as thorough a job as those outputs are. I mean, they have huge teams working on those. You are just one person. So do the best that you can. If you're using a product that in fact exists, you are creating your own guides. So don't forget that. You can look at theirs for reference, but you're creating your own content. You can take your own pictures, whether those are screenshots or pictures that you take yourself otherwise. If they do have a diagram like the student used here for this electric blanket controller, you can absolutely use that, but then she wrote her own content to go along with it. So on that note, I'm going to close out this video, and I look forward to seeing your websites.